You, silent and judgmental observer. Remember one thing and one thing only. Your judgment about me doesn't tell me who I am. It tells you who you are.
So next thing I want to talk about is that I think we are all artists. Creation reflects, so us humans creating art reflects the same process of the creator or the source creating us and creating existence, or the existence we know about. Let me be more specific. So everything that exists, if you analyze it, you will realize it exists because there's a purpose to it. So a hairbrush was created, was built so that it could brush hair, a glass so that it could drink water, etc. So actually the function of something is the precondition for it existing. So meaning is what makes things exist. A container, whatever form it takes, a human, a philosophy, a song, an object, must serve. So yeah, we really have to get to know how existence works to understand how the process of creation as an artist or as a human works, and the other way around, because they just mirror each other. So to me, the relationship between us and what we create is the same relationship between the creator and us. We are the creator's work of art, and our works are also reflections of us. And so when we create, we are doing the same thing that the creator did with us. That's how understanding the process of creation that we do as humans makes us understand the process of creation in a bigger scale. When we create, we give form to something so that we can come to know and to experience ourselves. So we can come to create something that will reflect who we are, so we can see ourselves, so we can understand ourselves, so we can know of our existence. A work of art exists to realize its function. It's born to carry the substance it was made for. So the more distorted the mirrors that reflect us back who we are, the more distorted, the more these mirrors that reflect who we are, the more they are distorted, the more they don't reflect who we truly are, the more pain we feel. So if society, if our culture, if our family, if our context is not mirroring a true image of us, specific beings, then the stronger our impulse to create other containers which could contain us, the stronger it becomes, this impulse. Each of us has to create our own containers where we can exist, creating our own systems of meaning, creating our own language, our own world where our truth, our specific truth can live. To me, that's the true task of the artist or of the person, so that we can truly become as authentic and as free as possible. It is becoming deeply aware of our own difference, of our own solitude, of our own uniqueness, of our own specificity, of our own story, that we also widen our capacity for connection, our capacity for acceptance of difference. So the deeper we go into ourselves, the deeper we come to understand our inner reality through the acceptance and the expression of it, through the creation of containers where we can exist. It is also in that way that we can be united in our separateness. It's only in that way where we can understand pain, where we can understand separation. Becoming so aware of our condition as humans to have a specific and unique and separate perspectives in this dimension. More on dimensions in another video. So it's so important to individuate, as Jung would say. It's so important, because that's the only thing that will finally make us unite. We can only be united by our differences. If there's a system worth creating, if there's some kind of rule, some kind of norms that are worth creating, if there's some kind of permanency worth creating, it can only be in the name of love in its deepest sense, the acceptance of difference, acceptance, the the total acceptance of the unknown, the total acceptance of the other. So it cannot be the kind of system that unifies by exclusion or by similarity. Religion, for example, was an attempt to build a system, to build, was an attempt to share this same message, this realization of unity. But this has been distorted the moment it hasn't been understood as a unity that would transcend form. Religion that doesn't realize itself to be the bridge is leading us nowhere again, because it's again worshiping the carrier, worshiping the instrument. It is not about everyone becoming one religion. It is not about there existing any other religion more than the one of love and freedom and deep acceptance, and anything else is the worship of form over substance. Just like the worshipping of art, just like the worshipping of artists, just like the worshipping of any kind of form. Art, language, philosophy, religion, an object, an action, they are all tools for transformation. They're not worth it if they're not transforming. Not for decoration, not for entertainment, not for ego validation, not for avoidance of pain, but only for remembering who we are and what we're doing here, and for helping others remember too, for helping the world remember too. So, having said all that I have said, it's clear to me that I think that creation is not for artists alone. Creation is a human need. It's a human need and a task. We are created beings who also create in an infinite cycle of creation. Each of us, human beings, we carry substance for which we have to create containers. And pain is substance without container, without acceptance. If we changed the question of how to escape this pain with how can I transform this pain, how can I express this pain, we find the solution. Pain is a tool to wake us up to our own creative nature. Only when we give form to our suffering, we can let it go. In our society, we don't give space to our inner reality. Not everyone is creative. Not everyone takes their creativity and their creative task seriously. And that's a big problem. I think that's a big problem. Because we have to reveal what's inside, what's in the darkness has to come to light, what's underground has to come out to the ground. We have to play with our own suffering. We have to play with our own, we have to give form to our own inner reality. Anything unwanted and unpleasant in our life is an opportunity to bring forward, to move outwards. It's an opportunity to express and to create, and to, in doing so, meeting, connecting with other people in that same movement that each of us should be doing. Because it is in the movement that we find ourselves doing the same, not in the final form. So I believe it's our task to create containers for what lives inside of us. And in that way, we can begin to understand ourselves and to have understanding, to have acceptance, to have knowledge about ourselves and about others. Here in my notes, I also wrote, without expression, the psyche stagnates, the soul forgets its own language. And creation is the soul remembering its own movement, its own essence, its strength, its capacity to heal itself and to heal others, of course. So it's creativity, any kind of creativity, because I'm not even talking about like creating a dance, creating a song, creating a painting, creating as in the creation of new ideas, the creation of a new perspective, the creation of a new way to feel better, the creativity, the creation of helpful perspectives is what healing is. So creation should never be the privilege of just a few of the artists or the chosen ones or that get to be famous or the no, creation is our task, it's our need, it's our purpose. We have to be creating containers for our own inner reality. Everyone is meant to be a creator. That's how consciousness fulfills itself. We need to be able to express, we need to be able to be seen to be understood, to be loved first by ourselves. And we also have to become fluent in this art of contacting our deeper and our higher selves, because that's where our own healing comes from. That's where our healing takes place. I mean, that's in this same road of connection with our persona and our higher selves. Imagination is super important. So it doesn't make sense that only some are allowed to be seen, are allowed to create. Fame is not a natural law. It's not how it should be. It's a system of our sick society that confuses visibility with true value. We all deserve the same right to self-discovery, to knowledge, to invention, to self-revelation. And this is not happening. We're not getting the tools to understand that we are all creators. We're not getting the tools to contribute our own fragment of perception to society. We need to each share our internal world to be able to build one where everyone would be accepted. The revolution is not aesthetic. The revolution is an existential movement. And it begins when we stop outsourcing the answers. And that's why I think it's just so related to healing art. I've done art therapy in the past. It was actually an important part of my therapeutic process, and it helped me a lot. And in the same way, I think that any therapy that outsources the answer is problematic. It all starts within, and we need to learn the ways to travel in this within, to understand ourselves, to know who we are. And art is just a great tool to do that. When each of us can create and can be seen equally without the belief of inferiority or superiority, only then the world will expand its consciousness and truly change. Because that's when each of us will have found that our true power is within, is inside. It's completely independent from anyone and anything external. So when each of us truly realizes our power and heals through it, then the world will actually change. Love is not a privilege. Love is the natural state. It's our most natural state, and where we will finally return to when everyone is finally and equally seen. We all deserve to be seen.